Today we'll see Java technical question and answers for interview part 3. The topic is classes and objects. What is a class in Java? Class is a blueprint or template that defines the properties and behavior of object. Properties implies instance variables. Behavior implies methods. So a class consists of instance variables and methods. Now what is an object in Java? Now object is an instance of a class, and in order to access the instance variables and methods, we require objects. So object is called as runtime entity of a class. Which keyword is used to declare a class in Java? Class keyword. Syntax for creating object in Java. Now coming to the syntax, here we write the class name, object name, assignment operator, the new constructor calling. So here you can see the object name can be user defined, and this new operator is basically used for allocating memory at runtime. For example, if there is a class called test, we are creating an object of called ob, assignment operator, then new operator followed by the constructor calling. What is the purpose of new keyword in Java? New keyword is used to allocate memory for the object at runtime, which is nothing but dynamic memory allocation. What is a constructor in Java? Now, a constructor in Java is a special method that is used to initialize objects. As you know, the objects can access instance variables, and if you want to initialize the particular instance variable with some default values, then you can go for a constructor. So the constructor is called when an object of a class is created. Just now I was showing a syntax where the right hand side there was a constructor calling, and that was created at the time of creating an object. It can be used to set initial values for object attributes. The object attributes are nothing but instance variables. If you want to provide any default value for the particular instance variables, you can go for a constructor. How does a constructor works in Java? Now constructors are automatically called. They're automatically called when an object is created using the new keyword. So just now we have seen a syntax like class name, object name equal to new constructor. So that line is going to call the constructors automatically. And in the same line, we are creating an object. And for that object, by using new keyword, we're allocating some memory. Now, what are the characteristics of a constructor in Java? Now, characteristics of a constructor as follows. It has the same name as the class name, and the constructor do not have a return type. When we see a method, we do have a return type like void, integer, character, float. But a constructor is also very similar to a method, but it doesn't have a return type because the constructor itself is a class type. And the constructor cannot be static or final. Now list out the types of constructors in Java. So we have a default constructor and we have a parameterized constructor. What is a default constructor in Java? Now constructor without parameters are called as default constructor. Default constructor is automatically provided by the compiler if no constructors are defined in your class. If suppose you want to initialize the instance variables with some default values, you can write a default constructor where you don't have any parameters. If suppose you are not you have not written any of the uh, constructor, the default constructor, then the compiler is going to call that particular default constructor, and the compiler is going to provide it. What is a parameter constructor? Constructor with parameters are called as parameterized constructor. Parameter constructors allows objects to be initialized to specified values passed as arguments. Because the constructor can accept parameters, so those constructors are called as parameter constructors. So as we are calling a method with some parameter values, that is nothing but arguments. Similar way, the constructor can also be called at the time of creating object. So whatever you are passing, the values for a constructor can be stored into the parameters of the parameter constructor. Now, what is the constructor overloading in Java? Constructor overloading in Java is a feature that allows a class to have multiple constructors, each with a different set of parameters. So there are a lot of constructors you are writing, like 3 or 4, but the parameters are different. What is a method in Java? The method is a set of instructions which performs a particular task. So you can write a number of methods in a class. Coming to syntax of the method, we have a written type of the method, like it could be void, integer, character, float, etc. Then we need to write the method name followed by the parameter list, and the parameter list is optional. If it is required, you write; otherwise, no. And the method holds a set of instructions. What is a destructor in Java? Destructor is a special method that automatically gets called when an object is no longer used. Because whenever you are working with an object, the object will be in use and it can hold some memory. But after the work is over, I need to release the memory. In Java, there is no concept of destructor because when an object completes its life cycle, the garbage collector deletes that object and deallocates or releases the memory occupied by the object. So garbage collection is one of the feature in Java. The garbage collector is going to invoke frequently and it checks which objects are not in use right now, and those objects memory will be deallocated. So there is no concept of destructor specially. In C++, we do have destructors, but here we don't have because we are using the facility of garbage collection. What is the use of final keyword in Java? Now, the final keyword in Java is used to make final classes, final variables, and final methods non-changeable. That means we cannot do any sort of modification. What is the final variable in Java? The final variable is a constant that can only be assigned a value once and cannot be modified throughout the program. So if you want to declare any constant in Java, you can use a final keyword. What is the final method in Java? A final method cannot be overridden by subclass. So if you want to prevent method overriding, then we can prefix the particular method with the final in the superclass, so the subclass cannot be overridden the particular method. What is the final class in Java? A final class cannot be inherited by subclass. So if you want to prevent inheritance, then obviously we can go for a final class. What is use of this keyword in Java? This keyword in Java is used to refer to the current object of a class. So whenever you are invoking a particular method or accessing a particular variable with the object, so if you want to work with the or if you want to work or find out the current object, you can go for this keyword. And the one more usage of this keyword is it can help to avoid confusion between class attributes and parameters that have the same name. So if you take a particular method where it holds some parameters and the instance variables and parameters both are having the same name, then it leads to some confusion that which are instance variables and which are methods. So in order to avoid the confusion, we prefix this keyword for instance variables so that the compiler get a clear information that wherever you have this keyword, that variable is been an instance variable and the other one is a normal parameter. What is a super keyword in Java? One is accessing superclass data, that is nothing but superclass variables. Whenever you have the variable name is same in subclass and superclass, so I can write super dot the variable name. Then I can call the superclass methods, and also I can call the superclass constructors by using super keyword. Thank you.